The Girsan MC14T. Let's check it out. Guys, we're seeing a lot of firearms coming out of Turkey, whether it's handguns, shotguns, and rifles, and the quality is really exceptional, especially for the price. What I'm really loving to see is some of the designs that have been discontinued that are coming back. And this is the Girsan MC14T. It's close to the Beretta Model 86, which is one of the most expensive of the Cheetah line. And the main reason is because of this, the tip-up barrel. In fact, I did a review on the Beretta 86, and Stan, one of my Patreon members, let me borrow it. They're very pricey, and it was really great to be able to bring out that old classic. I'm a big fan of the Cheetah series already, but that tip-up barrel, especially with the Model 21, the 950, the Tomcat, you know, they have been very iconic designs from Beretta. And so it's really cool to see them bringing back a design that was very popular, but yet was discontinued. The big thing about the MC14T, though, is that instead of the 8-round magazine of the Beretta 86, it has a 13-round magazine. So you get that double stack capability. To be honest, it competes with the new Beretta 80X. It doesn't have the tip-up barrel, but it's a 13+1 in 380, and it revived the Cheetah line. But the MC14T is going to come in at a much cheaper price. One of the big things, though, about that tip-up barrel is, first off, it's just cool to do. But it makes it easy to load, especially those with weaker hand strength. You can just put a round in the chamber, close it, put a fresh magazine in, and you're ready to fire. You don't have to rack the slide. I think that this is a really cool design. It doesn't limit it to those with weaker hand strength. It's just a great pistol. So we're going to look at all the details. I've been pretty excited about getting a hold of one of these, and one of my Patreon members, John, let me borrow this one for this review, and we really appreciate it. The Girsan MC14T. This is a Beretta Model 86 clone. There's so many similarities, there are a few differences. And it's one of the things we're seeing from a number of companies in Turkey that are taking some of the older designs and they're reviving them. It's really kind of cool. I mean, the Model 86 Beretta is expensive if you're looking for one. They've stopped making them a number of years ago. And one of the biggest features is the tip-up barrel. Now we're going to go ahead and drop our magazine. And one big difference between the Model 86 and the Girsan is this is a 13+1, whereas the Model 86 is a single stack magazine and it's only 8+1. But here is the same feature, is the tip-up barrel. And this is really cool. I mean, you can load around right here. You can load your magazine. And now you're ready to fire. It's double single action, so all we got to do is pull the trigger and we're ready to go. So I mean, it's a really simple design, and especially for those who have weaker hand strength or who just don't have a lot of shooting experience. And that's really one of the big pluses for this handgun. The Cheetah series is very popular with Beretta, and you know, most of those have gone by the wayside until they just released the Cheetah 80X. And this is in 380 ACP, so is the MC14T. It holds 13+1. In fact, the magazines will interchange. Even with your old Model 84 Berettas, the magazines will interchange. Now we're going to be showing a lot of guns. They've all been safety checked, and so we're not going to go through that process every time. But you know, the thing is with the Berettas, it has that open slide design, which is known for Beretta. With the Girsan MC14T, open slide, same really silhouette. As far as all the features and the functions of the gun, they're the same. And to be honest, you know, I don't know about the parts compatibility, but I would not be surprised if there weren't some parts compatibility, you know, other than the magazine. Now, one thing about this gun is that it does have an aluminum frame, and that's what all the Cheetahs had. So it's a fairly lightweight gun, and yet it's really thin, so it makes a good concealed carry option. The Cerakote finish is really well done. It's a black finish that does come in some other colors. We'll talk about that in a minute. It does have, again, the aluminum alloy frame. We have a Picatinny rail, which is a departure from the old series Cheetahs, but the same in the 80X. Has a slope down trigger guard. It has serrations on the front of the grip and the back of the grip, but they're just linear. I really like the actual grip panels. They're a polycarbonate composite grip, and they just have serrations or lines that go up and down. I think it's a nice styling. And then with the Girsan logo on either side, and you have your thumb rest, just to allow your thumb to fit in there a little, you know, better, to give you a better grip on the handgun. With the magazine, it has this lip, and it actually aids in keeping your hand just to the grip. And you know, that is pretty much old style. There were a lot of the older Berettas that had this, and a lot of European guns. We also have a lanyard loop if you choose to attach a lanyard, and this nice high ride beaver tail, which gets the hand up there pretty good. If you have big meaty hands, you could experience some slide bite or hammer bite. But honestly, I didn't experience anything like that, but I have medium-sized hands. The sights are a 3-dot white sight. The rear sight is dovetailed in, whereas the front sight is just milled into the barrel. Now, typically this would be part of the slide, but with the tip-up barrel, it's just part of the barrel. And that's as far up as it'll go. Of course, what really kind of has been very popular, probably the most popular, are the small Model 21s. And this is from Beretta. It is the tip-up barrel, and you know, it actually will bend all the way around. But this has been a very popular handgun, still made by Beretta. It has 7+1 in the magazine. And of course, it's fairly easy to load. It's a double single action pistol, which is the same for the Girsan. And these have, again, been very popular. The Tomcat is also another one of the Beretta pistols they still make with a tip-up barrel. But this is, you know, a very small pocket pistol. When you get into the Girsan, this gets more into a self-defense option or a concealed carry option. You have ambidextrous safety right here, and you have your slide stop right here. No front cocking serrations, but you've got your slide stop there. You can drop it. And then, of course, with the lever here on the back, and this is what activates the release for your barrel. And, you know, guys, it's just a very unique design. And, again, only mimicked by the Beretta Model 86 as far as in this size. Now, it's a blowback action. And that means that the gases that come out through the barrel are actually pushing back against the slide. And it's really a fairly stiff pull of the slide. And you have very small slide serrations. And so it can be a little tough to get a hold of, you know, even if you're used to shooting. But, you know, really, it's not that difficult. And so this is just really more designed, again, toward ladies or toward those with weaker hand strength or to older people. I mean, it really works well if you have arthritis. This would be a great option. Again, you just pop it in, you slip a round in, you add your magazine that's loaded, and really, you don't have to rack the slide. Now, the hammer is in the rear position, and I do want to show you that with that safety up, it's a completely dead trigger. We're going to drop the hammer. And before I drop it, I'm going to show you a safe way. If you have this gun loaded, you just tip up your barrel, and now you can actually drop the hammer without fear of slipping and maybe setting off a round. But with it in the down position or the up position, it's going to just have a dead trigger. Now, one of the things about a double single action, and a lot of you guys know it, but I'm taking this for those who really don't have a lot of experience, is that with the safety down and the hammer in the far position, if we pull the trigger, it's going to actuate the hammer. And this is double action. So it'll fire that first round, and then subsequent rounds are going to be with the hammer in the rear position. And it's going to be a lot less of a trigger pull. And every subsequent round after that is going to have that single action pull. If you want, you can have the hammer in the cock position, engage your safety, and you can carry it what they call cocked and locked. And that's really the way I carry a 1911. One in the chamber, magazine full, I've got the hammer back, but I have my safety engaged. So if I pull it out, all I got to do is drop the safety, and now I'm ready to fire. But this gives you that option. So the tip-up barrel really adds a whole nother dynamic to this handgun. The barrel is 3.81 inches in length. It's a little longer than the standard Cheetah, and even with the Cheetah X here, it just gives it about a ½ inch difference. And that's the same way it was with the 86. The Beretta 86 had that little bit of a longer barrel. Again, it had that 8-round magazine, and it didn't have any kind of accessory rail. So this just gives you a few more options. Now, when it comes to racking the slide, again, on the Girsan, it's pretty stiff coming back. With the new 80X, it's a lot lighter coming back. So it has a little bit of reduced recoil spring in there just to give it a little more ease to pull back. So even if you do have weaker hand strength and you want to go with this is going to be lighter to pull back, and then with press checks right here. And we're going to talk about price in a minute, but the price on the Girsan is going to be considerably less, and that's one of the big pluses as well. A lot of guns are coming out of Turkey, and they're just good quality, and they're made in state-of-the-art facilities. And again, those Model 84 and 80X mags, they work in the gun. Now, I didn't test them because I forgot my mags when I went to the range, but from all indications, I've heard that these do work. I have a buddy of mine, in fact, John, who let me borrow this gun, actually called EAA and asked them if it would fit Beretta 84 mags. And the guys at EAA said, we can't tell you that these mags will fit in the Girsan. But to be honest, all the slide cuts, even the angles where it's at the top, I mean, they all match. And so I am 99% sure that both mags will work in either one of the guns. Now, when it comes to trigger pull, the double action is heavy, but it's very smooth. There is no stacking, there's no grit, there's no anything. It just comes all the way back really smooth. When it goes to single action, it's reduced trigger pull length, and so now you have just some short take up, you hit a wall, a little bit of resistance, and then a decent break. As far as reset, right about there. We're going to check the trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. Double action. 6 pounds, 14.6 ounces. That is not bad. 6 pounds, 11.3 ounces. We have tested this a number of times, and we were getting it right about the 7-pound range. And for double action, that's really good. When it comes to single action, 3 pounds, 11.9 ounces. 3 pounds, 12.7 ounces. The weight on the MC14T, 25.8 ounces, or 1 pound, 9.8 ounces. It's 7 inches in overall length. It's 5 inches from the tip of the magazine to the top of the slide, and it's about 1.14 inches in width at the widest point. So it's still a very thin handgun. The grip is actually a little bit thicker than the 80X. The 80X has those really thin grips, and so it gives it a little more of a smaller grip, but it's not that noticeable. And to be honest, with the Model 84, we have a little thicker grip than we do on the Girsan. Big thank you to Fiocchi for sponsoring our ammo, all made in the USA. I really love that they've offered this in the 13-round capacity, and it really ups the game over the Model 86 with just 8 rounds. Guys, when Girsan announced the MC14T, I was pretty excited because I'm a huge fan of the Beretta Cheetah, and that's where this is inspired from. The cool thing is Beretta came out with their 80X, which is a beautiful gun. But the one thing about Girsan is you get a really quality gun, but the price is considerably less. And then a 380, so easy to shoot. I mean, especially for those who are recoil sensitive, or really with this one. I mean, it's great to have an option to be able to load this without having to rack the slide. And so we're going to go ahead and drop the slide. We're going to pop open our barrel with that tip-up barrel, drop in our round, just like the Model 86. Put our magazine in, and guys, we're ready to fire. Just our frame safeties here on the side, they're very easy, and just to go ahead and pop up and down. One thing I love about Beretta design is this open slide, and it really helps to keep malfunctions very low. And it's a very smooth, slick action. And the quality of the Girsan really is surprising in a sense, but I've seen enough of them to know that they're putting together some really quality handguns. Smooth shooting. It is a blowback design, so you're getting a little bit of recoil, but it's not as much as some of your other handguns. And then with that round capacity, 13 plus 1, the original Beretta Model 86 only had 8 rounds. So that gives this actually an advantage, plus you have a Picatinny rail on the front. The grips are really nice. It holds well in your hand. Just very impressed with Girsan and a lot of the guns that are coming from the Middle East, from Turkey. Tell you what, guys, you can spend more money, but this is a really excellent handgun, and it gives you that Beretta Cheetah experience. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that if you ride the safety, it does give you some discomfort around your thumb. If you just go ahead and put it around the grip and don't ride the safety, it shoots a lot better. When I'm shooting it with my thumb, riding it, it just gets into that part right between my thumb, the web of my hand. Now guys, at the range, we had no malfunctions. We shot over 500 rounds and it just burned through the Fiocchi we were using. We didn't really do any kind of jacketed hollow points, but it just ran. I wasn't even a little bit concerned. And the blowback action, it gives you a little more recoil in your hand, but it's still much softer to shoot than 9mm comparable pistols. But after doing some research, I started hearing that they did have some that were having some malfunctions. Mainly failure to feed, a couple of different things. I don't know if it's ammo related or not, but you know, again, we didn't have that problem. But one of the things though that I think is really something they should have added to this handgun is an extractor. There is no extractor. It counts on just the blowback pressures to blow that shell out every time. And then for the slide to recoil and to come back and put a round in the chamber. And so I just happened to notice that because all of the other Cheetah series, they have an external extractor. And that even goes with the old 84 series and all the others that I have, except for the Model 21 Beretta. It does not have an external extractor. It counts on that blowback action to blow that round out. And so that is one thing I think that would be a plus, is if they could include an external extractor just to give you that redundancy to pull that round out. I'm not saying that that is the only issue that was had, but as far as we're concerned, we didn't have any problems. But I wanted to acknowledge that there were problems in case you're interested in picking up one of these. Now, as far as maintenance and disassembly, of course, drop your magazine. We're going to check the chamber. It's kind of nice not to have to rack that slide to check it. One of the things that Girsan lists in their handbook or their owner's manual is that to clean this gun, you just tip up the barrel, clean out the barrel, whatever area you can get in here, and that is all they recommend for cleaning. I like to have a little more access right here to my slide rails, but that is the way that it is listed. The only other way you could do it is to actually remove the barrel. And there is a pin, and with the Beretta Model 86, it did recommend to removing the pin. I didn't do that on the sample that I had because it was a friend of mine's and I didn't want to take it apart, and those are very expensive. They're very collectible. But that is one thing I would like to see, something where they allowed for this to happen. But again, if you're removing this pin quite a bit, it can wear onto the barrel. So any other disassembly is not recommended by Girsan. Now the retail price on the Girsan MC14T is $498. I did see it in a few places for under the $400 range. And one of the things about it, this is a brand new handgun, so you know there's a lot of out of stock. I think that people are really picking this up. It's just such a classic design, again, following the Beretta 86 and the whole Cheetah line. And so, you know, it's very much sought after right now. It comes in an FDE Cerakote. It comes in a gold-plated model. It comes in a black model that's highly polished with gold plating accents. It comes in a gray and black model, and last but not least, it comes in a pink Cerakote. And these do have a limited lifetime warranty, and that is serviced through EAA or European American Armory, who does import the Girsan into the U.S. So the Girsan MC14T, it's bringing back the Beretta Cheetah line on the heels of the new Beretta 80X, which 380 ACP, guys, I mean, there's so many great self-defense rounds that this makes it a very viable self-defense option. Lower recoil, easy to load with that tip-up barrel, especially not having to rack the slide. It just makes it so much more simple for those with weaker hand strength. But guys, to be honest, this just makes an excellent firearm for anyone. It's thin enough to carry, and yet you have a good round capacity. And so we're seeing a lot of great guns coming from Turkey, but Girsan really does a great job with the fit and finish. And with the price, I mean, you can't go wrong. And again, a big thanks to one of my Patreon members, John, for letting me borrow and experience the MC14T by Girsan. This is a cool little gun. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. That Beretta Cheetah experience.
Experience.
Get some experience. Girsan has been bringing back. I don't even have firearms that a lot of
Oh, sorry. I can never
tell.
tell.
You're trying to get me on something.
I am.
You're gonna get me.
Just gonna prove you wrong.
I know how you are, you little turkey lurkey. Whether it's the Browning High Power, whether it's, you know, even your Beretta